Hello students, sound check students. Good afternoon each and every one of you students. Welcome back to your own channel Vedantu Science Olympiad, and this is Basva sir, your biology master students. Now this is a session of all the PYQs of your plant physiology students. Every single PYQ. When I say every single PYQ, I have taken PYQ from almost past 7 years. PYQs have been taken. So when you solve these questions, you end up getting some idea about which type of question you can expect from this chapter, right? The type of question you can expect from this chapter. So students, I hope I'm audible and visible to all of you students. Yes, am I audible and visible, students? Yes, am I audible? Perfect, students, perfect. Okay, now very simple rule. I will show you the question. If you know the answer, try attempting the answer, try attempting the question, and you can type the answer in the chat box right now, students. So without wasting any time, let's go, students, to the first question of today's class on the board, students. Here the first question. This was a rather, what do I say, easy question. This was rather a very easy question from this particular unit. It says photosynthesis in plant is carried out in. So you will tell me, it's very simple. You have to identify the parts of a plant where we can find chlorophyll. If the chlorophyll is present, that part can do the photosynthesis. Leaf can do it, yes. Leaf and stem. Students, please remember, especially in the case of herbaceous, your stem, the green color stem, it has the chlorophyll, so it can also do the photosynthesis. Roots, it cannot. So the answer is option number E. Very good, very good, Umar. The answer is option number B. Both leaf and the stem can do the photosynthesis. Okay, now next question on the board, students. Again, if you know the equation of photosynthesis, it's a very easy question. Again, see this. The equation given below represents the process of photosynthesis. CO2 plus H2O, sunlight and chlorophyll give you glucose plus oxygen molecule. Now students, you need to balance it out. All of you. Students, is the below? Students, sound check, sound check. No, it's perfect, right? It's perfect. Is the voice very low? One second, students, one second. Now, I think now the voice will be better, right? Students, quickly check the sound right now, voice right now. Is the voice fine right now? Yes. Is the voice better right now? So if the voice is better, quickly solve the question. It's a very easy question, students. Okay. Now, it's a very easy question again, students. So all of you can attempt it very easily. See, it has to be water here. So both of these options are gone because water is required in the starting. Yes or no? Now, water is required in the starting. You have to balance the equation. So 6, if you remember, yes. So option number A is the right answer. And this is the equation which all of you need to know. That is CO2 plus water in presence of sunlight and the chlorophyll and the light right here. We get sugar plus oxygen. So please remember the balance equation. It's very easy to solve the question. Okay. Now students, next question on the board right now. Here. Plants absorb nitrate from the soil, which are the most essential to produce. All of you might know the insectivorous plants, right? The plants which trap the insects, the Venus flytrap, the pitcher plant. All of these plants, they capture insects for one specific type of your element. Students, one specific type of element which is very important. Yes, that is basically your, students, nitrate. And this nitrate is used to produce proteins. Why? Because nitrate, the nitrogenous base are present in the amino acids, and amino acids will make up the protein. Yes, amino acids will make up the protein. So answer is A. Next question on the board, students. It's a very easy question, very logical question. Okay, the dry mass, the mass excluding water of a seed in the process of germination, what happens to the dry mass, students? Now try to imagine there is some amount of dry mass available. A reservoir of food is available. Will the reservoir of food be used up in the starting germination? Yes, the reservoir will be used up in the starting. When the reservoir is used up, will the respiration increase or decrease? Respiration will increase, right? So what happens? Increase over time. Does the dry mass increase? No. Dry mass will never increase. Dry mass will get consumed. The dry mass will get consumed for respiration. Will the dry mass decrease over time until the first leaf appear? Yes. So what happens to dry mass? The dry mass gets used up. All the reserved food material gets used up. Now why until the first leaf, students? Because when the first leaves, जब पहली बार जो पत्ता निकल के आता है ना, when the first leaves appear, they can now start photosynthesis easily. So until the photosynthesis can start, until the leaf is produced, dry mass will keep on decreasing, because dry mass getting consumed completely. Okay. Now students, next question on the board. If atmospheric humidity decreases, transpiration rate happens what? If atmospheric, students, if you're able to answer this question, quickly smash the like button, all of you. If you're able to answer this question, the atmospheric humidity. See, this is a plant here. This is a leaf right now. Now, in the atmosphere, what is happening? The humidity is decreasing. If the humidity is decreasing in the atmosphere, will there be a concentration gradient formation? The water vapor present inside the leaf and outside the atmosphere, there's a gradation is formed now. Gradation is formed. Okay. So what happens to the transpiration? If there's a gradation here, if there is a gradation here or gradient formation is happening, all the water will go inside. Yes. The increase, because transpiration will increase because the higher concentration gradient between the air space and the basophil cells of the atmosphere. Yes, transpiration will increase. So option number C is the right answer. Okay. Next question on the board. It's a very easy question. It is a question based on a small experiment. Okay, it is a question based on a small experiment on the board. Start, students, start. Okay, I'll give you 20 seconds. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to answer this question. 1 minute to answer this question, students. A plant kept in a box with only a hole on the entry of the light shows bending. So here we have a box here, and inside this box we have a plant inside. We have a plant inside. Let's say we have a box here. Inside this box we have a plant. Now this plant will be seen bending towards the light here. The light is coming from this direction here. There is a small hole here. Now what is the main reason? Yes. Sir, I have only studied photosynthesis, I haven't studied transpiration formulas, so I'll study it and come back. Okay, okay. But try attempting the questions once. You might, who knows, you might attempt, you might be able to solve the questions. And don't worry, after this there is a lot of questions from photosynthesis also. You can attempt those also. If you watch my lecture, easily you can solve every single question. Okay. Now what happens, students? All of you, please remember, students, please remember why the bending happens. Let me give you a proper diagram here for you to understand. Now यहाँ पर एक हमारे पास एक पौधा है हमारे पास. There's a plant here. Now this plant will start to bend towards the light. This entire plant will start bend towards the light here. Why, students? Why is it bending towards the light? Because in the opposite direction here, this is the sunlight here. Sunlight यहाँ से आ रहा है. इसके opposite direction में ना, इस जगह पे there is increase in concentration of oxygen. Because of increase in the concentration of oxygen in the opposite side, this entire region will grow very fast. समझ रहे हो students? This part will grow very fast right now. So it will bend towards the light. So always remember, oxygen concentration will increase in the opposite direction of the light, and because of that, the plant will start bend towards the light. Okay. Synthesis and diffusion of oxygen in the shoot. Okay. A plant may not exchange CO2 or oxygen with air at 2017 NSEJS question. To solve this question, you need to know something called as compensation point. Now, what is compensation point? Compensation point is a time where the rate of photosynthesis is equal to the rate of respiration. Respiration or photosynthesis दोनों एक ही एक what do I say, rate is happening, एक साथ हो रहे हैं. Okay, that is called as compensation point. And this compensation point happens at what time? Okay, I will give you a small clue, students. The clue is right here. Does anyone know what you call this time? एक सन, जब सूर्य है ना, सूरज ऊपर आने से पहले थोड़ा वक्त होता है ना, the moment before the sunrise or just a small moment before the sunset. Students, can anyone tell me what do you call that point? The point where just before the sunlight and just before the sundown, before sunrise and before sundown, that small time is called as twilight. It is called as twilight. This type of condition is called as twilight. And in twilight condition, what happens? There is something called as compensation point, where rate of photosynthesis is equal to rate of respiration. So that time what happens? There is no exchange of oxygen and CO2 that time. Okay, next question on the board. If a cell is using less oxygen molecules, then the molecule of CO2 evolved. Okay, so oxygen क्या कर रहा है? कम ले रहा है, and it is taking less oxygen. Okay, then the molecule of carbon dioxide evolved in the respiration. The substrate for respiration has to be. This question can be easily solved if you know something called as respiration quotient. How many of you have heard about it? How many of you have heard about respiration quotient right now, students? How many of you have heard? What is respiration quotient? Okay, let me teach you. Let me teach you, students. Okay, understand what is the respiration quotient first of all. Okay, now respiration quotient is nothing but the ratio of volume of CO2 evolved divided by volume of oxygen consumed. है ना? That is called as RQ. RQ is basically the ratio of the volume of CO2 evolved. कितना CO2 evolve हो रहा है respiration में, और जब respiration में कितना oxygen भी consume हो रहा है. That is called as RQ. And this RQ will vary depending upon which type of substrate you are using. प्रोटीन के लिए कुछ होगा, लिपिड के लिए कुछ होगा, और कार्बोहाइड्रेट के लिए कुछ होगा. Now when you talk about carbohydrates, for carbohydrates, the amount of CO2 evolved and amount of CO2 amount of oxygen consumed, both are same to same. देखो students, the respiratory quotient depends upon the type of respiratory substrate. When carbohydrates are used as substrate and are completely oxidized, the RQ will be 1. Students, okay, it is कुछ होगा नहीं, it is going to be 1. Okay, for carbohydrate it is 1, क्योंकि carbohydrate जब भी हम यूज करते हैं ना, जब भी हम कार्बोहाइड्रेट यूज करते हैं, उस कार्बोहाइड्रेट को कंप्लीटली यूज करने के लिए the amount of oxygen consumed and amount of CO2 released, दोनों एक ही है. Okay, so in that case it is 1. Now in the case of when fats are used as respiration, the RQ is less than 1. So fats के लिए less than 1 होगा. Now for proteins it is around 0.9. Proteins is 0.9, which is again less than 1 for proteins also. So proteins also it is less than 1. But students, but for organic acids it's more than 1. Now when is it more than 1? When there is more and more oxygen. See this, whenever there is more and more CO2 released compared to less oxygen. So in that case RQ is more than 1. The answer is organic acids. Okay, so fatty acid is less than 1, cholesterol is also less than 1 almost, sugars is almost 1. You can understand from there. Okay, next question on the board. Students, take your time. Students, take your time and answer. Rahul sprayed a chemical X on a plant with rosette habit. Now what does rosette? Rosette माने फूल की तरह. Cabbage, cauliflower, है ना, cauliflower सब. Okay, so in cabbage and cauliflower, when you spray this chemical X, they show something called as bolting. What are they, students? They show something called as bolting, and this bolting is caused because of which hormone or which phytohormone? Anyone? This bolting in rosette of plants is caused by which of the following hormones? Bolting. Or this is also a very major clue. Increase in internodal distance or internodal elongation. Very good. It is gibberellic acid. Easy question tha ye. Okay. Next question, students. Next question. This is a PYQ from the year 2020, I guess. 2020 or 2021. Okay. Students, please remember students, do you want a table? Do you want a table which has a list of all the functions of a phytohormones? Students, do you want that? Do you want it? Because in today's notes, I have it. You can see, students, here. Auxins, root initiation, flower initiation, parthenocarpy, prevention of abscission, apical dominance, feminizing effect, cell division, cell enlargement. Gibberellic acid, stimulation stem growth, promote seed germination, break bud dormancy, delays senescence. Cytokinins, ethylene, and abscisic acid. So if you have this entire list, you can solve majority of your questions from this particular chapter about hormones. Okay, so download the notes. Notes will be given in the description, right? Download the notes. All of these notes will have these questions plus the entire information on the table. Okay, so this can be used very well. See, abscisic acid is what? Increased tolerance to stress, promote seed dormancy, antagonist to gibberellins, inhibitor of plant metabolism. Crazy, right? Crazy it is. Now, students, let's get back to the questions. Let's get back to the question put on the hand. Here's the question. The transpirational pull is maximum under which of the following condition? Jab kab hoga transpiration pull is maximum? The water is being sucked very fast. See, if the water has to be sucked out, stomata has to be obviously open. So this is gone first. So stomata is open, okay. Moist soil hona chahiye, how do? Moist soil hona chahiye. But do you also need dry air? Yes, we need dry air. Remember the previous question. When there is dry air, what happens? When there is dry air, the respiration increases. The respiration increases and more water is pulled out. And more water is pulled out, students. Okay. We need moist soil. Moist soil is important because continuous supply of water is going to be there. If there is a dry soil, water is not there in the soil. What will we pull? Right? We need continuous supply of water. So for that, we need moist soil. Okay. Now, next question on the board. If you're able to solve this question, quickly smash that like button, all of you. Quickly, students. If you're able to solve this question, quickly smash the like button right now, all of you. If you're able to solve this question, अगर solve question हो रहा है आपसे, बहुत ही easy question है ये, बहुत ही easy question है. The carbon fixation in most succulent plants. Succulent plants are your plants found in your desert condition. In your desert condition. It's desert condition में ना किस तरह plants will undergo which type of your metabolism or which type of cell reaction, students? Quick. Try, students. Try the answering. Try answering, students. Okay, all of you know what is Calvin cycle. Calvin cycle will happen in all the plants. So it is not the answer because Calvin cycle will happen in all the plants, nothing specific there. Okay. Glycolytic pathway will happen in every single plant. Glycolysis has to happen. Glycolysis has to happen because glycolysis is the first step in respiration. So glycolysis will need to happen in all the animals, all the plants, all the bacteria. It has to happen. Okay, glycolysis because it doesn't require. Now, what is Hatch and Slack pathway? Hatch and Slack pathway is also called as C4 cycle. Do all of you remember from my class? In my class, I told you C3 is also called as what? Kelvin is also called as C3 cycle. Now, the C3 cycle and C4 cycle are not very restricted to desert areas. No. In desert area, the temperature is very high. So when the temperature is very high in desert area, the stomata does not open. The stomata does not open in the morning time. Stomata will open only in the night time. And when the day and night type of cycle, the day and night type of cycle is called as CAM cycle. The CAM is also called as crassulaceous acid metabolism pathway. The CAM cycle. And CAM cycle takes place, students, in the case of desert plants. See, in the case of desert, what is happening? Stomata is open in the night. In the night time, stomata is open. CO2 is entering inside, and this is converted to your some type of your C4 acid, like we can convert it to malic acid. This malic acid is sent up in the daytime. In the daytime, the Kelvin cycle take place because stomata is closed now. Stomata is closed in daytime. CO2 cannot enter inside. So this is called as CAM pathway. CAM pathway is very special because it happens in day and night. Okay, no other pathway happens this way. Okay, and it is very restricted to your succulent plants or desert plants. Okay, next question on the board. This question was discussed in my class also, students. This question was discussed in my what do I say, photosynthesis class. If you've learned photosynthesis from me, this is a very easy question. In this question, they are doing paper chromatography. Paper chromatography is a method of separating different types of pigments. All these plant pigments are separated from an extract. When the separation happens, right, we can see an entire spectrum here, and all of you might be aware, right, the pigment present at the end is called as chlorophyll B, then we have chlorophyll A, then xanthophyll and carotenes. And this is from my class. So answer is option number A. First we have chlorophyll B here, then chlorophyll A, then we have carotenols, there is xanthophyll type, example is xanthophyll, and then carotenes. That is the answer from my class. Okay, now students, this is a very easy question, because whenever I teach glycolysis, I always tell students, please remember which step ATP is formed, which step ATP is consumed, which step water is formed, which step oxidation takes place. I tell all my students this thing. Now here is a question which is asking you in which step the ATP is formed and which type, substrate level. Okay. In the following students, what is the EMP pathway? Does anyone know what is the meaning of EMP pathway? Emden, Mayoff, and Parnas pathway. EMP pathway is the name of 3 different scientists who discovered the glycolysis. So EMP pathway is also called as glycolysis. So EMP pathway, the enzyme catalyzing the reactions are numbered E1 to E10. Enzymes याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है आपको. At which enzyme level ATPs are generated at substrate level? Now, when I say substrate level ATP generation, I cannot consider the NADPH formation. NADH formation we can't consider because NADH is present as electron carrier, which will be used in electron transportation later on. So, in which step ATP is formed? So, if you know my class, all of you, I make you remember the 7th step and 10th step. In the 7th step here, you can see, students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Now you can see, students, in the 7th step here, in the 7th step and 10th step, you can see there is an ATP formation here and ATP formation here in 7th and 10th step. So even if you don't know the entire glycolysis, at least learn in which of the following steps ATP is formed. So if you know, if you can see here again, in the 7th step here, between 1, 3 to 3 here, and PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvic acid. So here we have E7 and E10. So E7 and E10, we can see the entire ATP synthesis, substrate level. Now, what do I mean by substrate level? The meaning of substrate level ATP formation is, the meaning is that this ATP is formed directly from the substrate. No interconversions there. Now, for example, all of you know, one NADH can give you 2.5 ATP. The 2.5 ATP of NADH we get from electron transport chain, not directly. Okay. So here this is directly ATP formation. Okay. Next question on the board. During a type of carbon dioxide fixation occurring at night, students, CAM pathway, all of you know CAM pathway, right? Carbon dioxide fixation occurring at night while stomata are still open. The first step in combination of CO2 with phosphoenol pyruvate to form 4-carbon oxaloacetic acid in chlorophyll of mesophyll cell. Okay, so they're talking about what? In the night time, when we talk about night time, when the stomata is open, we are talking about CAM pathway right now. CAM pathway. Now, give me the example of CAM pathway. See, this is what coccus is. What coccus is? Coconut. Coconut will not be found in desert. Coconut is found where? Coconut is found in your tropical regions. Rhizophora, no students. All of you might be aware that Rhizophora has something called as negatively geotropic roots, right? New metaphors. So they are found where? They are found in marshy areas. Okay, marshy areas. Okay. Now, what is Vallisneria? Vallisneria is a plant which is completely found in the water. It is a floating plant on the top, right? And some of the male plant is present in the underwater also, there submerged, right? So it is present in water, no CAM pathway. But what about aloe vera, students? Aloe vera. Aloe is typically a desert or the succulent plant because it is present in a very much more dry areas where the CAM pathway takes place. So aloe is the answer. Aloe is the answer, students. Aloe is the answer. Okay. Now, students, with that, your PYQs are almost PYQs are actually over now. Now we will solve some questions from my side. I have made these questions many years back. So let's start the questions one by one. In the next 15 minutes, the class is over. Okay. So first question on the board. Which of the following organisms does not release oxygen as its byproduct during photosynthesis? It will release sulfur actually. It will release sulfur as a byproduct because we know normally in the case of plants, water is used as a hydrogen donor. Water is used as a hydrogen donor in water. So in the water undergoes splitting, what happens? Oxygen is released. But in these organisms, H2S is used as a hydrogen donor. Now when H2S is used as a hydrogen donor, जब ये टूटेगा ना, what happens? Sulfur is released. And the answer is obviously purple and green sulfur bacteria, where H2S is the hydrogen donor. Next question on the board. Which of the following photosystems is predominantly present in stromal lamellae? Stromal lamellae is the connecting link. Stromal lamellae is the connecting link between the two grana, right? Two grana. So in the stromal lamellae, which PS do you find? Photosystem. Do you find PS1 and PS2 both, or do you find only PS1? Which one do you find, students? Which one do you find? We find, students. Do you remember this diagram in my class? Remember here, I told you this is called as stromal lamellae. Stromal lamellae. Is stromal lamellae ke upar na, you can only find PS1. Only find PS1. So the answer is only PS1. But if they ask you which photosystem is present on the grana or thylakoid, grana or thylakoid has both PS2 and PS1, both are present on grana or thylakoid. Okay. Next question on the board. At which wavelength color of light maximum photosynthesis in plants is observed? Here you have to tell me which is the favorite wavelength of light for plants. Favorite wavelength of light for plants. Like this wavelength, they are maximum, they'll be effective. I've told you this in my class also. I've put this in my class, right? That is your blue and red. Very good, students. Very good. Blue and red. Okay. Next question on the board. Which of the following is not a product of light dependent reaction? Or yes, सर इस चैप्टर का रिवीजन तो आया ही नहीं, Students, this chapter is over, right? I recently finished this. I finished recently this, right? I finished photosynthesis. I think a couple of weeks back, 2-3 weeks back, we finished the photosynthesis, right? This question is from there directly. We finished ecology revision recently. We finished ecology, and in ecology, what did we do? In ecology, we finished ecology PYQs already. You know? Respiration, students, I have not done. I know respiration I have not done. Students, I was supposed to start respiration today, but respiration, don't worry, it's a very easy chapter. I can finish the respiration in one shot. I'm thinking I'll finish respiration in one shot. I think I will take around 2.5 hours, right? 2.5 hours to teach you the entire respiration. Like बहुत ही आराम से समझेंगे, बहुत easy है. In 3 hours, maximum 3 hours, entire respiration I can teach you. Okay, so don't worry, students. I will do one shot. I'm thinking I will do more of one shots because if you do part 1, part 2, part 3, बहुत time लग रहा है ना उसके अंदर, बहुत ही time लग रहा है, and it is taking and it is going way too long also. So I'm planning to do photosynthesis is over, respiration in one shot itself. It's a very easy chapter. Students, solve this question quickly. Which of the following is not a product of light dependent reaction of photosynthesis, sir? In light dependent, students, see, do we get NADPH? Yes, we get NADPH. Do we get ATP in light reaction? Yes, we get ATP. Do we get oxygen? Yes, we get oxygen because of splitting of water. But do you get glucose in a light reaction, students? Do you get glucose in light reaction? Nahi. Glucose is found where? In the dark reaction. In the dark reaction, we get glucose. Now we get dark reaction, we get glucose. Very good, Vanshu. Now, which of the following is correct statement regarding cyclic photophosphorylation? Cyclic, okay. It involves both PS1 and PS2. PS1, PS2 both are present in cyclic, students? No. Only PS1 is present. Only PS1 is present. The electrons released from PS1 are again cycled back to PS1. Okay. It requires an external electron donor. नहीं चाहिए. यहाँ there is no splitting of water. Students, is my voice low? Students, sound check. Is my voice low? No, right? Students, is my voice low actually? Quick. No, right? It is fine. I checked multiple times. Try, students, try increasing your volume in your phone. No, right? It's fine. I checked. Students, it's fine. Huh? Now, both ATP and NADPH are formed. नहीं, यहाँ पर NADH formation नहीं होता. So answer is option number B. So you can see, students, in the case of cyclic, what happens? In the case of cyclic, only PS1 electrons are cycled back here. Electrons are cycled back. है ना? Electrons cycled back here. There is no NADH formation here. Only ATP formation. Yes, only ATP formation. This is non-cyclic. This is non-cyclic. Okay. Now, easy question on the board. What to repeat, students? See, you can see here, it has only PS1 gone. Electrons released from PS1 are again cycled back to PS1. है ना? Electrons are released from PS1, they're cycling back to PS1 here. So it's going back to PS1. है ना? Now, see this. Both ATP and NADH are formed. No, both are not formed. Only ATP is formed in your cyclic. NADPH is not formed in your cyclic. ये देखो, cyclic के अंदर you never see NADPH formation anywhere. So in cyclic there is no NADPH. NADPH is formed only in your non-cyclic. See here, in this non-cyclic you can see the NADPH formation here. NADPH formation. So that statement also becomes wrong. है ना? Wrong. This is the only correct one. ठीक है students? It requires an external electron donor. No, it does not require. है ना? नहीं, requirement नहीं है. Now students, easy question, go. Chemiosmotic hypothesis is related to. What is chemiosmotic hypothesis related to, students? Chemiosmotic hypothesis. Quick, students, quick. Chemiosmotic hypothesis. Students, next I'll do biomolecules accelerated. Okay, we will do biomolecules accelerated one more time. Okay, I was thinking if you do accelerated also different chapter, the syllabus can get overseen. In 3 hours I have finished your entire ecology. in 3 hours the entire ecology is over. And trust me when I say this, if you watch the 3-hour lectures, just 3-hour lectures, 1 2 3, है ना, 3-hour lectures, entire ecology will be over. I'm not even kidding. पूरा का पूरा स्टार्टिंग से बॉटम तक सारा टॉपिक्स उसके अंदर इन्वॉल्व है. So 3 hours entire unit is over. Unit is getting over. That is what I was thinking, right? In accelerated, if I take multiple other topics also, pura ka pura unit will get over very fast, and all of you can also revise also there. Okay. So next I will do biomolecules. I don't mind. See, biomolecules we'll do accelerated. Biomolecules we can finish in one shot if possible. You know? Yes. Oh, you have seen my podcast, sir. Thank you so much, students. Thank you so much. Okay. So what is the answer here? Chemiosmotic is involved in the synthesis of ATP. It is involved in the synthesis of, yes, I know Divanshu, students, I know Divanshu. Synthesis of ATP, है ना? Synthesis of ATP. The water splitting complex is associated with the water splitting. Students, water splitting happens in PS2, not in PS1. It happens in PS2 in the case of a non-cyclic PS2. है ना? So this is gone. This is gone. These two options are left. PS2 is located on the inner side of the thylakoid membrane. Yes, on the inner side of thylakoid membrane. Light independent reaction, also called as a dark reaction of photosynthesis occurs in, students, very easy question, very easy question. Dark reaction takes place in the case of your matrix. What is the matrix called as? Stroma. Very good. The peak absorption peak of photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 is at, very easy question, very easy question, very easy question. This is, what are the peaks? PS1 is 700, PS2 is 680. 700 and 680. It's ulta, remember, 1 is coming first, but it is the highest here. Okay? So just because 680 is coming first, it is not 1. I told you, this 1 and 2 is based on the year of discovery. The PS1 was discovered first, even though it is at 700 nanometer. PS1 is at 700 nanometer, right? But this was discovered first. This was discovered first. Okay. Which of the following products of a light reaction are subsequently used during the biosynthetic phase of photosynthesis? They're asking you which of the following molecules here, are used in the dark reaction, basically, dark reaction. Biosynthetic phase here, dark reaction, ATP and NADPH. Very good. Both are used in dark reaction. The carboxylation in C3 cycle or Kelvin cycle requires the following enzymes. एक enzyme है जो, which is the most abundant molecule in the entire biosphere. Students, the molecule is the most abundant protein, I would say. It's called rubisco. है ना, rubisco. Rubulose carboxylase oxygenase. Dash are required for the formation of one molecule of glucose during Kelvin's. Oh, students, I didn't teach you Kelvin cycle, no? Students, Kelvin cycle, and this is a very good question also. Okay, students, we will stop here because other questions are from your. I've taught you Kelvin cycle, no, students. I've taught you Kelvin cycle. Okay, I thought you Kelvin cycle. I forgot I thought you Kelvin cycle. Okay, for one glucose molecule. Photorespiration is a wasteful process because, yes. So students, if you attend one class of mine, only one class of mine of photosynthesis, you can solve all of these questions very easily. Photorespiration is a wasteful process because it is waste. There is no sugar formation, correct? No ATP produced, correct? CO2 is released using ATP, yes. So all of the above, you know, all of the above. The Kranz anatomy in the case of C4 plants happens what? Okay, students, class I'll bring Tatva questions. Okay. Divyanshu, next class, next time, instead of these questions, I'll bring you Tatva questions directly. I'll bring Tatva and NSEJS PYQ. Okay, I'll bring Tatva questions next time. We'll see, it's very easy. Okay. Thick walls known as space. You know? The students, from here it is respiration. I don't know if we can do respiration questions. So I'll keep it for next time. I'll keep this for next time. Okay. So after I finish respiration plants in one shot, in that one shot lecture itself, I will get these questions. And I'll get you Tattva questions also in one shot. Okay. So we will solve these questions and Tattva questions in the one shot video. Okay. Now for now, students, please remember this entire PDF has all the examples also. You can see, students, here auxins, gibberellins, right, cytokinins, ethylene and abscisic acid, all the functions are given right here. So please download these notes and remember these functions, because in examination they can ask you anywhere. Okay, students, biomoles is very easy. I'll teach you one shot revision of biomoles we will do in 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour one shot revision will do 1.5 hours. Okay. Okay. Okay, students, thank you so much, all of you, and I will see you in the next class. Until then, keep studying, keep working hard. And students, please let me know what you need. I will never say no. I'm a teacher who always listen to students. So whatever you want, let me know in the comment section, and I'll make sure I teach that chapter or take questions from that chapter, or take questions from somewhere where you can benefit. Okay. So thank you so much, students. Bye bye, all of you. Take care and have a great day ahead, all of you. Bye bye.